For decades, the many most popular activities around railways are train spotters. Fans of trains, young and old, throughout history, have always photographed any of their favourite trains that they see, and many of the most eye-magnetizing trains are the most well-known. Publicly and popular and celebrative trains, special trains that have stood the test of time and hold a special place in the locals' history and around the world. So if you're an Aussie like me, you could be there to capture 3801, our national star attraction. Or if you're a Pummy, you could be there to capture Flying Scotsman, the most historical and famous engine in the entire globe. And if you're American, you could be there to capture dozens, such as Norfolk and Western 611, Southern Pacific 4449, Union Pacific 4014, and America's last ever steam engine, Union Pacific 844. And this is what this video is all about. However, one of the many things is to be expected when doing rail tours of famous engines, of course. One of the things rail tour crews expect from are, of course, as mentioned, train spotters. Train spotters, no matter where, are always going to try and take an exciting photograph at each advantage point. This, of course, is to be expected, but at cases, this is also half concerning. And why do I say half concerning, you might ask? Well, you see, train spotters over times have been known for one thing: trespassing. Trespassers illegally and dangerously risking their own life to get a striking snapshot. There are many cases with fortunate near misses and unfortunate deaths, and there are many usual death cases with train spotting, with general heritage tours. And you'd never think that sort of thing would happen with that particular engine. And on July 21st, 2018, 2 days after I turned 14, the unimaginable happened with Union Pacific 844. This is a story of the Henderson incident back in 2018. The Union Pacific 844 is a steam locomotive, specifically an FEF-3 class 484 Northern type, that is part of the Union Pacific Railroad's heritage fleet. It was built in December 1944 by the American Locomotive Company and is the last steam locomotive built for the Union Pacific. It is also the one of the 4 surviving FEF series locomotives that is still in operation, known as the Living Legend. It has never been retired and continues to operate on the Union Pacific system as an ambassador of goodwill and has been used for excursion service since 1960. Number 844 has run hundreds of thousands of miles as Union Pacific's publicity locomotive. The locomotive often pulled the annual Denver Post-sponsored Cheyenne Frontier Days train that ran around trip from Cheyenne to Denver every July before it was discontinued in early 2019. The Cheyenne Frontier Days train trip was an outdoor rodeo and western celebration in the United States, held annually since 1987 in Cheyenne, Wyoming. It bills itself as the world's largest outdoor rodeo and western celebration. The event, claimed to be one of the largest of its kind in the world, draws nearly 200,000 annually. Lodging fills up quickly during the peak tourist season throughout southern and eastern Wyoming. Into northern Colorado and western Nebraska, the celebration is held during 10 days canted about the last full week of July. In 2008, Cheyenne Frontier Days was inducted into the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame prior to the annual kickoff of the Cheyenne Frontier Days on a Friday. The annual cattle drive is held on the preceding Sunday morning. This event, which attracts considerable attention, is inspired by the cattle drives of the Old West. In 2013, 447 steers herded by mountain cowboys walked 3 miles from Hines Boulevard into Frontier Park. In 2015, 550 steers walked this route. It starts from a pasture north of the city and runs along Interstate 25, south and then through the city streets into the park. Cheyenne Frontier Days has a full-time staff of 18 people year-round, and an estimated 3,000 volunteers, of whom a small number are paid. There is preparation before the event and cleanup after the event, as well as all of the work that needs performed during the actual event. and Union Pacific 844 was part of the event by taking rail fan trips from Cheyenne to Denver. July 21st, 2018, and Union Pacific departed. July 21st, 2018, and Union Pacific 844 departed Cheyenne for the Frontier Days excursion. The trip went as the way everyone expected. Many rail fans meeting and greeting each other, people telling their store experiences, and young rail fans playing with toys and eating sweets. Everything was going well. As 844 flies through the countryside, many rail fans are waiting at each vantage point along the way. Everyone cheers 844 as it and the maintenance diesel fly along and through. But everything would happen at once when it came to Henderson. Henderson is a small silo yard area coming into Denver. It is on the same route as 844. There are two old rail fans called Steve and Kelly Yarish were here and were part of a photographer's waiting to see 844 fly through. But Kelly was standing too close to the track. She was standing right on the railway tie. She didn't know how much she estimated and was too busy looking at her phone camera to even recognize her distance. But as 844 came along, the inconsiderable happened. "844 struck and killed Kelly instantly. She flew backwards in a cartwheel-like fashion, and although the footage of her getting struck may look survivable, I guarantee you it was not. 844's firemen apparently tried to shout at her to get out of the way, but she didn't hear and the crew couldn't be able to do anything to stop it. Afterwards, Union Pacific 844 had an emergency stop so that way they could observe the accidental doing. This wasn't 844 or the crew's fault, this thing is. It was all too soon, and trains can't stop quickly. Trains are big heavy machines and they can't stop that quickly. No matter what you do to try and make a train stop, it'll still take up to nearly 17 stadium fields to stop depending upon what speed you're travelling at. And this is just an accident. An unintentional, innocent, and unknowing accident. And that's what matters. And that's what matters about the situation. It was just an accident caused by a simple mistake and a lack of spatial awareness. And I give my condolences to anyone who knew Kelly or anyone else who was involved in the incident. There was There was supposed talk that this was an act of sabotage to end Union Pacific steam program, because a woman is dead would be pretty selfish right now. I'm not worried about the train. 844 is completely fine. It could have been any locomotive and the same result would have happened. The only difference being is that 844 attracts attention, and people need to be aware that regardless of what engine it is, you must always keep your distance. Steve spoke out about this concern, saying, "It's a part of American life that people enjoy, and for this to be used to a bad vibe on excursion trains, I definitely don't want that to happen. People enjoy it. If legislation came out that no one was going to stop excursion trains, that would make me unhappy." At the end, it's clear that the incident did not end Union Pacific steam program after all. They did nothing wrong, and unfortunately, the very next year in 2019, the Cheyenne Frontier excursion train was discontinued due to this. Union Pacific 844 still runs today alongside 4014, and they both do rail fan tours. If there is any lesson to know about this, if you are train spotting, always keep your distance. If you want to do a really close camera shot, just place your camera at the tracks while the train is still at a safe distance away and step back. Watch yourself. You are only limited to one life. Preserve it. Keep it safe. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit the like button and hit the notifications. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit the like button and hit the notifications. And subscribe to me, and I'll see you next time.